Hey, young historians, Mr. Moran here, and I'm going to give the lowdown for Tuesday's assignment. But before we go over Tuesday's assignment, let's scooch back to Monday. Just a little review about Monday. And remember, Monday, we introduced the Industrial Revolution, but then we went even a little bit further back in trying to figure out how life was before the Industrial Revolution. And remember, before the Industrial Revolution, people worked in their homes. The children worked in the homes to help out. People didn't travel much. People did not need education, so very few people could read or write. They didn't have clocks. There was no reason why people needed clocks because you didn't go anywhere, right? You worked at home. And so you worked at your own pace. And then the Industrial Revolution happened, completely changed society. People no longer worked at home. They went to the factories. And so the factory system is created. And it wasn't just the adults that went to work in the factories. The children and the women did too. And it made sense because before the Industrial Revolution, the children worked at home. So the children would come to work or come to the factories and work. And we're talking children as young as 5 or 6 years old. They did this and they would work 12, 13 hours sometimes. And by our standards today, we find that appalling. We'd never have children 5 or 6 years old working in a factory. But back then it made sense because to them it was just work. And also because of the factory system, things were produced faster and cheaper. And this also led, thanks to Eli Whitney, to interchangeable parts. And that means everything is made in pieces. And if something like the stapler, if something were to go bad in the stapler, you just get the new part for that specific piece in the stapler and then just replace that part rather than just throwing the whole stapler away. And so today, what we're going to be doing is we're focusing on two fellas, Samuel Slater and Eli Whitney. And I know yesterday in the video, they touched on these two guys, but today we're just going to focus on them. So I'm going to click on Tuesday's assignment here. And what you're going to do is you're going to watch 4 videos. 2 about Samuel Slater and 2 about Eli Whitney. These are really short videos. They're 3 or 4 minutes long. And what you're trying to do is you're going to gather evidence and try to figure out which of these 2 fellows had a bigger impact on America. And to help you out, I have a little worksheet here I want you to fill out. And you can see down here, I have spots here for Samuel Slater and a spot here for Eli Whitney. And then you're going to have your critical thinking question. Which of these 2 historical figures are the most important, okay? And so as you're watching the video, you're going to gather evidence for both of them. And you're going to create a claim, you're going to gather your evidence and supportive details for your evidence. And to help you out, I have an example. And I picked someone that most people know about, and that's George Washington, right? So George Washington is our historical person, and my claim is that George Washington was the most important person. And I wrote my claim is because George Washington defeated the British. Okay, that's based on fact. And over in the next column here is why does this make this person historically important? So now I need evidence to support this. And so I wrote, once the British were defeated, the United States was independent from Great Britain thanks to Washington's leadership. So this is direct evidence to support why I think Washington is one of the most historical people in our history. Now, this is very critical because I've given you evidence, but now I want some real support details to support that evidence. And so here, as it relates to George Washington, I have then the United States was able to establish the first modern representative democracy, and Washington inspired other oppressed people to do the same. So again, you see how I go from a very general idea, and that is George Washington is the most historical person because he defeated the British, to something very specific because of his leadership. He inspired other people to do the same. So you're going to do that for Samuel Slater and for Eli Whitney, right? You're going to get this information from those videos you're going to watch. And you might have to stop it every so often, back up a little or whatever. And also, too, these are just your notes. They don't have to be complete sentences. I'm okay with jot dots. Then, once you get that all done, Down here, I want you to answer that question. So of these two, which do you think were the most important figure, Eli Whitney or Samuel Slater? And I don't care what you pick, Eli Whitney or Samuel Slater, but what I am interested in are is your claim and your evidence and support details. So in other words, if you say Eli Whitney because he sounds like a cool guy, yeah, you won't get full credit because you've made a claim. Okay, I got that, but you're lacking your evidence and you're lacking your supportive details to support your evidence there. Okay, and here's a rubric down below to help out with that. If you have any questions, please stop by office hours and see you later. Bye.